All right, what's going on? Back again, got another video. All right, so this one is a little easy and short. How to upload a book to Kindle Creator. And I guess I'll probably do a video, maybe of like some screen capture on my computer when I upload the short story to Kindle Creator. But it's really simple, and you don't want to overcomplicate it. Basically, the steps are: you want to create your document in a Word document, Word processor. Get your formatting correct. You know, your margins, your pages, your numbers, and you know, your chapter headers and indentation and all that fun stuff. Then once it's in your Word document, nowadays they're just letting you upload it straight into Word. And then once you get it into Word, make sure that it's good on phone, make sure it's good on desktop, make sure it's good on tablet. And they have, you know, something where you can check how it looks on each. And that's it. You know, none of this exporting to PDF, going from Word to PDF, back to Word. Like, no, just create a Word doc, attach. It's like sending an email nowadays. Upload your cover art, boom, fill in your description, your blurb, your tags. That's where you want to be spending more time rather than the actual document itself. I think the document is going to be very easy to just do, and that's why self-publishing game is so crazy right now, because of the ease to gain followings, to gain followers with the whole Amazon marketplace. Is just crazy right now for authors. Now you still got to do the work and get, you know, people to actually buy your stuff and read it. And, you know, if you're writing good stories and people actually feel like coming back, that's a whole nother thing. But for the most part, it's a very straightforward, simple task right now. So I might do a video about how to do that more in depth. It won't probably be too long, but I'll just show you kind of examples of how to find some of my stuff, or, you know, how I've done uploads previously. And so, yeah, that's one down, one question for the day down. Question 2, when using plot index cards, what do you prefer, Scrivener or Corkboard, and why? So Scrivener, for those that don't know, is kind of a story building app. Not app, but application for desktops and computers and stuff. So, and it has this feature in there where pretty much, you know, the Blake Snyder Save the Cat, where you have scenes and you post them onto a board. It has that feature built into it. And so instead of going out and buying index cards and creating these scenes and then buying a corkboard and then having a big enough wall to support a corkboard and doing all that, you could just make it all in, you know, the program, and assign it, assign colors, and it's pretty nice. So that's one option. Then there's the old school method of doing everything I just said, but physically with the corkboard. And then there's a couple creative options too. If you're just trying to plot stories, you could actually, and I found this one online, shout out to self-publishing subreddit, using an Excel spreadsheet and then putting a projector onto a wall too. I thought that was very ingenious, and I dig that too. All of those are cool methods. For me, as you guys might have seen in like some previous videos and stuff, I like the corkboard method for a few reasons. And you know, I've got notebooks around me. I do voice memos. I write. I type. You know, I use every medium that I can for what its purpose is. Sometimes writing is important, the physical act. and sometimes organization is important with the typing and stuff. But I think something for like scene cards, clarity and typing and all that isn't a priority, I feel, for scenes. You want to be able to freely jot, jolt, draw a little picture, give you as much to remind you the emotion of that scene as possible. And since index cards are really only big enough to fit 3 points about that scene, I'm going to say that, Corkboard's my go-to method for that, just because of the ease of moving it. Like, yes, Excel, you could have it up there on your wall, so you have it up there. But if you want to just move something down, you got to go walk back to your computer. And moving things in Excel is difficult. Moving the cells, oh gosh, just even thinking about it. But it's great for, number processing and spreadsheets and stuff. So it's not used for that. I've seen people use, you can use Excel document for a call sheet, and a bunch of other things. But what it excels at is, doing numbers. So, and then with Scriv, you could, you can move the cells a little easier than a word sheet, but you can't just pick it up, grab it. Oh, all these scenes are in the same thing. I can just grab all of them and then post them behind this index card. The amount of detail that you can get into actually building with those index cards in the corkboard, it's just funner, it's going to give your body more entertainment to do and give you different creative ways to think of how your story looks, rather than just cells on a page or cells on a wall or cells on a screen. You're like, oh no, I remember these scenes because these were hidden under this card here. So when I write it, like, it just gives you a different kind of flash memory. And then, hey, maybe once you get that free form thinking out and you've painted your picture and everything's full, and, maybe if you have an intern or somebody that you can pay $25 to type those into Scriv, or an Excel sheet, and it's a little more solid and you don't have to move it around because it's all packed full of story, then those things might actually be a little bit more in handy, because then if you're typing on word processor, you can just switch over. You don't have to get up and look at the board. You could just switch over, see where you're at, boom, put a check, move to the next one, And how I like to do it kind of is it's like a mix of Blake Snyder and Michael Crichton, but I like to build as many scenes as possible. And then once I feel that the story's there, I put them in order from one to whatever, and just start writing through the index cards. And I find that that's my method of organization. I don't really see myself using an application too much unless I'm traveling a lot, which I only like to travel for fun, so I don't know, but if I'm on the road or something, I guess I'd have to be a little bit more compact. I might still try to get a corkboard if I'm even going to be there for the week or something. But for the most part, I could probably just save my index cards till I get home or use an app like that. So it's all, all of these things are tools. And I felt the same way as I did about making beats, I loved making beats on the MPC. The MPC's dope. It's it's got the pads. You get more attached to your drum kits because you've built them on the the program for, it's kind of like, all right, I got all these drums. I'm not trying to transfer back and forth to my computer, so I need to make these work, or I know what's my bread and butter. And then, so you have that, plus you have the softness of the pads, plus you have the quickness of being able to switch. You don't have to open any programs. You don't have to load a track or wait for any load times. Everything's just boom, right there at your fingertips. It's great. And I think there's space for that. That's why people still today are making MIDI interfaces. But then once you get your beat down and all the bones are there, you take it to a sequencer like Logic or Cubase, and what you're going to be able to do with it is just going to multiply more, because you have the bones of it organized enough to where these other things can you can use a little bit of the technology. And then another thing I used to do when I would make beats is I had a beat making app on my phone with some of my drums loaded. I had my laptop with a lot of like high quality apps on it, and then I had my MPC. So between all three of those, wherever I was in the creation project process, I could figure out how to get the story told musically. And it's the same thing. You can have your index cards for a certain amount of stages. You could have Scriv for when you're finalizing. You could do the Excel spreadsheet if you're trying to collaborate with or present to people. It's just and you could use Scriv on the projector board too, but the possibilities are endless. But making things fun for the body is important. Having a physical element gives you a muscle memory to your story that just living in the digital you're not going to get. And don't underestimate that point, because it takes a lot of the work off of just your brain, to where like, oh well, my hand remembers some of this story too. You know what I mean? It's really hippie of me, but there is some like psychology documentation behind what I'm bringing up too. I was a psych major, so anyway, that's all for today. Like and subscribe. We got the new book in Patreon. The link's down below. Email any questions, 24creative@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on IG. And stay tuned.